Good morning, everyone. I hope that you will be taking your seats soon. We're going to start. Wow, it's so nice to see all of you. It's a full house, sold out event. I understand that they're having 400 restaurants, attendees from the United States who travel just to attend this conference. So it's really great. Good morning again. On behalf of the Board of Directors and the staff of the U.S. Japan Council, I welcome all of you to this USJC Annual Conference 2022. The last annual conference convened was in Los Angeles in 2019, and I was honored to serve as the co-host of the committee. And it's great to be back here in Tokyo. One of the greatest differences between this conference and the conferences in the past, including the one in Los Angeles, is that we no longer have Irene Hirano Inoue. She was, of course, the founding president and CEO of U.S. Japan Council, has brought the organization from a small group of visionary leaders, including herself, to such a big and successful organization that has been one of the most important nonprofit organizations that sustains the U.S.-Japan relationship. We miss Irene forever. She was my mentor and the mentor and friend of many of us here. We will ever remember her and her contributions. And we do have Jennifer Hirano Inoue, who's the daughter of Irene. And Jennifer, do you like to stand to be recognized? Thank you. She's been heavily engaged in U.S. Japan Council, and I really appreciate her commitment. But then, although we were and still are saddened by the loss of the great leader, it's encouraging, and we're lucky to have such a distinguished successor of Irene, who persevered and weathered the most difficult times for us after the passing of Irene, and of course the pandemic, and has brought the organization to not only survive, but thrive and be even more successful. And I'd like to acknowledge Suzanne Basella, our President and CEO. Thank you. So before we get started, I want to let you know that today's programming in the ballroom will be presented in English only, and simultaneous interpretation is available. Headsets are available in the foyer, and the interpretation channel information is available on the screen now. Yes. Please carry your headset with you throughout the day, and this is an important part of it. Please return your headset to the foyer before you leave the venue at the end of the day, because if you take it home, USJC would be charged. Since the inception, the U.S. Japan Council has been committed to bringing together diverse leaders from across regions, sectors, and generations, building the important people-to-people connections at the heart of the Council's mission. This morning, we will start by learning from several distinguished government leaders. The government of Japan created the Japanese American Leadership Delegation, or JALD program, in the year 2000. And since then, it worked closely with USJC on the JALD program and on other initiatives wherever our purposes align. As a matter of fact, I traveled with 5 JLD delegations in early years, and I witness that, I'm one of those witnesses that the trips have provided the life-changing experiences to all the delegates who traveled on the program. And as a matter of fact, we do have quite a few people who are in JALD alumni at present. Would you like to stand to be acknowledged? They have formed one of the mainstays of the U.S.-Japan relations. So. And again, thank you for traveling all the way from the United States. Prime Minister Kishida is not able to join us due to pressing diet business, but he wants to send his best wishes. To deliver the government's official greetings, I welcome to the podium Mr. Noriyuki Shikata, Cabinet Secretary for Public Affairs in the Prime Minister's Office. As a Foreign Service Officer, he was posted to the United States and to Boston and Washington, D.C., during which time I'm sure that many of you must have come to know him and became friends of him. So please welcome Mr. Noriyuki Shikata.
Thank you very much, Kaif-san, for kind introduction. Good morning, everybody. Before reading the message of Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, please allow me to share my own short remarks. Having attended the last annual conference in LA 3 years ago, I'm extremely happy to see familiar faces and many friends in this room after 2.5 years of COVID travel restrictions. It is an occasion of great reconnect, which we all have been waiting for. I guess some participants will enjoy their Friday nights today out in Tokyo, meeting their friends. But watch out. This weekend is Halloween. As you know, the streets of Shibuya will be packed with people dressed as Pikachu and Mario. And this is a great the cultural exchange between the United States and Japan. So many young Japanese love American Halloween. And on your way back to your hotel, please, watch out. It may be difficult, to come back to your hotel from Shibuya Crossing. My personal experience with the U.S.-Japan Council dates back around 2005, when I had a chance to attend a lunch meeting between late Senator Daniel Inoue and then Ambassador Ryozo Kato in Washington, D.C. I recall Senator Inoue around 2005 talking enthusiastically about the initial idea of establishing this council. Founded a few years after this launch, the U.S.-Japan Council has now evolved into one of the major pillars of Japan-U.S. relationship. But even today, I cannot believe that Ms. Irene Hirano Inoue passed away after the last annual conference. As all of us attending this meeting must feel, we all miss her so much. The two nations shared epoch-making moments over the past decade. In 2011, Japan encountered the Great East Japan earthquake. When our American friends offered such generous support, and the U.S.-Japan Council played a tremendous role with its Tomodachi initiative. We faced COVID-19 since 2020, but with the leadership of its members, the U.S.-Japan Council has become even more active despite its challenging situation. Under the Kishida administration, we endeavor to further deepen close Japan-U.S. bilateral relationship in wide-ranging fields, including security, economy, trade and investment, cultural and educational exchanges. More specifically, Prime Minister Kishida's main priorities are issues such as significant building up of Japan's defense capabilities, including further deepening U.S.-Japan alliance, promoting Digital Garden City initiative, green and digital transformation, as well as promoting startups. You can see that these are the areas where Japan and the United States can collaborate, and we can go together in third countries too, in the context of free and open Indo-Pacific. I believe that discussions we have during this conference will make an immense contribution to finding innovative ways to realize such priority policies through closer Japan-US cooperation. Furthermore, as Prime Minister Kishida and President Biden have mentioned in the joint statement issued this May, we must further engage next-generation Japanese-American leaders in the future bilateral cooperation, while paying tribute to the history, contributions, and cultural heritage of Japanese Americans. I believe the U.S.-Japan Council will continue to play a vital role in this area. Now let me read out the message by Prime Minister Kishida. I quote, "I extend my sincere congratulations to the U.S.-Japan Council on its first in-person annual conference in 3 years being held in Tokyo. Late last month, we held the state funeral for late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Vice President Kamala Harris and I agreed to continue close coordination between Japan and the United States toward further strengthening the Japan-US alliance and realizing a free and open Indo-Pacific, carrying on the legacy of former Prime Minister Abe. It is also extremely unfortunate that we lost long-term Japanese-American supporters of the Japan-US relations. Ms. Irene Hirano Inoue, President of U.S.-Japan Council, and former U.S. Secretary of Transportation and Commerce, Honorable Norman Mineta, during this period, when in-person cross-border exchanges were halted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd like to take this opportunity to once again extend my sincere condolences. For the past 2 decades, the U.S.-Japan Council has been passionately working to strengthen the bonds between Japan and the United States and between Japan and Japanese Americans. This type of work has real significance in creating the foundation for Japan-US friendship in the future. When I met President Biden during his visit to Japan in May, we recognized the rich history of Japanese Americans, their contributions, and cultural achievements. We also agreed to have leaders of the next generation of Japanese Americans involved in future Japan-US cooperation. I promise to continue to work with you to strengthen Japan's relationship with Japanese Americans and with the United States of America, Japan's most important alliance partner. Finally, I want to thank the Chair of the Board of Councilors, Mr. Ernest Higa, Chair of the Board of Directors, Mr. Paul Yonamine, President CEO Suzanne Basara, the sponsors that support the U.S.-Japan Council, and each individual who has supported the Council. I wish the Council continued growth and success in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shikata, so much. We're very proud to see his continued professional contributions from such an important position at the Prime Minister's office. As was mentioned, the U.S.-Japan relations has been strengthened greatly by some of the visionary leaders in the United States, both in the United States and Japan, and one of such person is, of course, late Senator Daniel Inoue, and I also like to acknowledge the presence of his son, Mr. Ken Inoue. Would you like to stand to be recognized? Thank you. I understand that it's his first trip to Japan. It's great to have you here.